Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. If we all inshallah begin by standing up and coming forward and creating a nice neat semicircle. So even the brothers behind the curtains, can you all inshallah come forward and create a nice neat semicircle? And if there is no need, then inshallah please can we refrain from leaning against the walls. Inshallah come forward and fill the gaps in as well, please. MashaAllah. And also the brothers with the mobile phones, please can you either switch them off or put them on silent, as when the ustad is giving the nasiha it could cause disturbance if the phone rings, or even if a person is on the phone it still causes somewhat of a disturbance. So what I'm about to mention now, these are very important that we adopt these things in order for us to benefit from this majlis of nasiha and zikr. So the first thing that I request myself and everyone here to do is to rectify our intention of why we are here. And our intention should be to seek the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Our intention should be to seek the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by learning about what pleases Him, so we can act upon this, and so we can learn about what displeases Him, so we can refrain from this. The second etiquette is to apply the knowledge given to oneself only. So let's say, for example, if the ustad is mentioning about backbiting, don't think about your work colleagues, how they backbite, or about your friends or this and that. Apply the knowledge to oneself and think about the times that maybe yourself has backbited and do tawbah for this. So apply the knowledge to oneself only, and think that yourself knows nothing. Think of yourself like an empty cup, and only when we humble ourselves in the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, only then will the light of knowledge and guidance be poured into our heart. All praise and thanks is certainly due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is the Lord and the Rabb of everything in creation, from the heavens to the earth and everything else that exists in creation. And we beseech Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to send His peace, blessings, salutations and love upon Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, upon the blessed companions and upon the blessed family of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and upon the awliya and salihin. So again, the purpose of us attending this gathering should be to seek the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by learning about what pleases Him, so we can act upon this, and learning about what displeases Him, so we can refrain from this. So the schedule of the evening will be, firstly a naat will be recited, then the majlis of zikr then the majlis of nasiha will take place, after which the majlis of zikr. And if anyone wants to see an ustad regarding any problems that a person is having, let's say for example if a person is trying to become a better Muslim, if a person is sick and tired of falling in the same trap time and time again, then what is this telling us? This is telling us that we may need to seek guidance. So if a person wants to see an ustad in this regard, then please come and approach myself after majlis. We also have these facilities. So now inshallah I will request forward our brother Ahmed Rizal to come forward and recite a naat. Jazakallah khair.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Today's naat is Hazrat Nasir Millat Pir Nasiruddin Nasir rahmatullahi ta'ala alayh. He wrote this naat, and one of the share is very very beautiful share about Sayyidina Siddiq Akbar, because this day and the month also have a nisbah with the Sayyidina Siddiq Akbar radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. So dedicate this naat to Sayyidina Siddiq Akbar. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give me ikhlas while reciting, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give you hazuri and me hazuri while hearing. With the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah is watching me, hearing me and listening me. So when a poet or a naat khan recite a naat, so keep focusing towards the love and the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Jazakallah khair. And recite durood and salawat with me. Sallallahu alayka ya Rasulallah وسلم علیک یا حبیب اللہ. بے مثل ہے کونین میں، ہاں بے مثل بے مثل، ہاں بے مثل ہے کونین میں. سرکار کا چہرہ اللہ نما ہے، شہ ابرار کا چہرہ بے مثل ہے کونین میں. اور اے مطلبی بہاروں کے پیمبر، اے مطلبی بہاروں کے پیمبر، کھلتا ہے تیرے نام سے گلزار کا چہرہ. Shai says, oh the prophet, oh the messenger of the blows and bahar and bliss, with your smile all the flowers, all the garden actually become enlightened, and flowers even got the smile and the fragrance from your flower face and from your presence and from your beauty. اے مطلبی بہاروں کے پیمبر، مطلبی بہاروں کے پیمبر، کھلتا ہے تیرے نام سے گلزار کا چہرہ بے مثل ہے کونین میں. اور پوچھا جو کسی نے کیا چیز ہے احسن، پوچھا جو کسی نے کیا چیز ہے احسن، تو صدیق نے برجستہ کہا کہ یار کا چہرہ और पूछा जो किसी ने क्या चीज है अहसन, तो सिद्दीक ने बरजुस्ता कहा कि यार का चेहरा अल्लाह नुमा है शहे अबरार का चेहरा बेमिसल है कौन में।
I bear witness there is no God except Allah, alone without any partners, and I bear witness that Muhammad is his servant and messenger, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. O Allah, send prayers upon Muhammad and upon the family of Muhammad, just as you sent prayers upon Ibrahim and upon the followers of Ibrahim. Verily you are full of praise and majesty. O Allah, send blessings upon Muhammad and upon the family of Muhammad, just as you sent blessings upon Ibrahim and upon the family of Ibrahim. Verily you are full of praise and majesty. Bismillah. وَمَا الْحَيَاةُ الدُّنْيَا إِلَّا مَتَاعُ الْغُرُورِ. The life of this world is merely the enjoyment of deception and delusion. We begin with the name of Allah and His blessed words in the form of Quran, in the guidance and teachings that Allah has given us in preparation for the Day of Judgment. It is for that great day that Allah has sent prophets and messengers onto this dunya, to all the ummahs and all the communities. But the question is, how do we prepare for that day? As that day is coming, is something that's inevitable. Just like how every person dies, the dunya one day has to die as well, as death is written for everything. And when that happens, this life that we live, this 60, 70, 80 years, it will feel like less than one day. Allah says in Surah Mu'minun, those people who have lost their purpose, on that day it will be said to them, how many years did you stay and live the life of this world on the face of the earth? Allah says, the people are going to say, we only stayed there for a day or part of a day. They will say, ask the people who know, who can count. The reality of it is that 60, 70 years on this dunya, that's where, if we're lucky, we get 60, 70 years. Some people die on the first day they're born. Some people are born dead. Some people are born stillborn. But it will feel like less than half a day. And it will feel like a dream, a vision. We hear people mentioning dreams and visions, but the reality of it is that this dunya one day is going to feel like it was the actual dream or the vision, and the reality is to come. It's like, for example, it will be said to these people that you only stayed here for a very short time. If only you knew that it was such a short period of time. But we think we're going to live here forever in this dunya. And what happens is, because we have this mindset, we always think 99% about this dunya, but we only think about 1% about the akhirah. But the reality is that nobody can guarantee that they're going to live tomorrow, but they can guarantee that they might die though. That's the reality of it. And because of this wrong purpose and wrong view of life, because we feel like we're going to live forever, we prioritize this dunya over akhirah. So what happens is we prioritize children. Some people, the center of their life is children. Some people, the center of their life is their wife. Some people, the center of their life is money. For some is business. For some is doing evil, for example, backbiting. For some is their name and fame and respect and what they believe is their izzat. And for others, it is just wasting away, just enjoying themselves. Then Allah says to the whole of mankind that you think that Allah has created you in vain without any purpose, and that you will not be returned to me one day. The being who forces you to return to him is the being who is going to judge you. The reality of it is that we think that we're in control, but when Allah once our time's up, it's not even going to take a second. One day, like Ustad Qais was mentioning last week, one day you might be healthy, fit, checked all your bloods at the hospital, everything's coming fine, no blood pressure, no diabetes, no illness, and the next day you've had a heart attack and you passed away, or you've had a car crash. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be ill to die. It could be that you could be walking across the road tomorrow, or you could be in the wrong place at the wrong time and death can come to you. But the reality of it is that death is going to come to us. And when Allah then mentions that, so the being who forces you to return to is the being who's going to judge you. So the example of these 60, 70 years, sometimes we think that we hear this and we think that how is it going to feel like half a day when with 60, 70 years it's a long time. But let's just take, for example, yesterday as an example. Yesterday was Sunday. Some of us might have been eating with family. Some of us might have been working. Some might have gone to the gym. Some might have gone out with friends, playing football, etc. But if you cast your thoughts back to yesterday, from the minute you woke up to the minute you went to sleep, you won't even be able to remember 20% of it. And that's just yesterday. That's not even 10 years back or 15 years back. That's just yesterday. So if I ask someone here, if I tell you, put your hands up, who can remember everything that they did yesterday? Who can? Not one person's put their hand up, apart from the young man there. But in the same way, try remembering, for example, when you were in school, one day. Just remember one day of school. You can't. It might have been 10 years ago, might have been 20 years ago. The reality of it is that it's just like a dream now. Or even, for example, try remembering in your life your hardest test, that at that time you would have thought that there's nothing that I could possibly go through right now that's more harder than this. Try remember that. It might have been 2 years ago, it might have been 5 years ago, but try remember it. You won't even be able to remember it. And at that time you thought you couldn't even think about anything else apart from that. The reality of it is that one day, just like yesterday, how you can vaguely remember it, or how you can vaguely remember your school days or tests that you've been through, that's how on the day of judgment, when you wake up or when you die, that's how it's going to feel like. You're not going to be able to remember anything. And your whole life is just going to be like a dream, like a vision. And you will struggle to see where your time went, because all that time it was wasted. Because instead of actually focusing on your priority, you actually gave a false priority into your life. And when you gave that false priority into your life, Allah made you forget yourself. You see, you hear so many people, we've heard that in the Quran, it says that they forgot Allah, so Allah made them forget themselves. And the reality of it is that's a very severe punishment. We just don't understand it. It's that they prioritize something else over Allah, so Allah in return took revenge on them. We don't realize how severe it is. Allah took such revenge on that person that He made him focus on that thing for the rest of his life until the angel of death came and took him whilst he was in the middle of it. He made him forget himself. And in the same way, if we look at our lives, we've forgotten ourselves because we've forgotten Allah. We don't know our reality. We're just stuck in a circle. So yesterday, it's only right now. Yesterday only exists in your memory. And if that memory then goes, then you won't even have anything. So, for example, look at them individuals. Right now, you might think, "Oh, Brother Shaban, I can remember what I did yesterday. I can remember certain things." But look at them people, for example, who have dementia. They're getting taken care of by their own children, and they don't even know who their children are. They wake up every morning, and that person is coming to look after him. He thinks he's a stranger, but that woman might have given birth to that person. So the reality of it is that even in this dunya you might have forgotten. And imagine on the Day of Judgment with the severity of it, how are you going to remember? And for tomorrow, Allah mentions tomorrow. What's tomorrow? Tomorrow is the Day of Judgment. And so we shouldn't be fooled, and we shouldn't be fooled to think that we're here for 60, 70 years, we're here forever. We're only here for a couple of days. And forget even comparing it to Akhirah. Akhirah is something else in terms of heaven, hell. Just compare it to the next stage after Barzakh. Just compare it to the Day of Judgment, which Allah mentions Yawm al-Qiyamah, day. So this is our definition of day, is 24 hours. Now look at Allah's definition of day. Yawm al-Qiyamah, meaning it's a yawm, it's one day, Day of Judgment. But it's not like our day, it's 50,000 years. 50,000 years and 50 stages. 50 stages, and at each stage 1,000 years of questioning. Such severity. And just imagine, just one stage of them 50 is 20 of these lives. So we think, if we just imagine, like I said, we've not even gone to Jannah, or we've not even gone to Jahannam, or we're just on the Day of Judgment right now. 50,000 years, 50 stages, 1,000 years each. So each stage is the equivalent of 20 lifetimes. So imagine 20 people here. That's just one stage, and that's 50 more stages. So imagine the lives of 20 people here. It's just one stage of the 50. So is this life, this all it is just 50, 60 years. And then you move on to the next phase of your existence. And a person who lived for 70 years, he might have thought he had a long life, and then there might be another person who might have lived for 10 hours. But they're both equal now because they can't come back. Regardless if they lived for 1 hour, 1 day, 100 years, it's all equal because you can't come back now. So whatever you're going to take with you, that's the only. It's like here when we go on holiday, we have luggage, we prepare our luggage, we go to get our toiletries, get our clothes, for example, but we've not got our luggage for the Day of Judgment yet. But we don't know if tomorrow our flight is. It's like the Mashaka mentioned that this dunya is like an airport. People are flying in, aeroplanes are arriving, and aeroplanes are departing. In the same way, this dunya is like a big airport. Souls, spirits are arriving into this dunya in the form of children, and spirits are departing this dunya in the form of death. So it's like, for example, a young boy who passed away in our locality the other day. He didn't know his time was up. Neither in our locality there's been 2, 3, 4 funerals just in the last couple of weeks. But it's at that time that Shaitan's most fiercest attack is going to come, because it's at that time that he's going to try to take your iman. And that's because that's his last opportunity, you see. He's not going to get another opportunity after that. So it's at that time where he's going to try his best. And what we do is we're fooling ourselves, because what we think is that Shaitan's fiercest attacks now, he's not even trying probably 5% on us. And we're collapsing, falling over. It's like we're walking on ice, we're just slipping. But the reality of it is, he's not even putting 5% in compared to what's going to happen at that point, at the time of death. Because it's his last opportunity. It's either he takes you to hell forever, or you save yourself and you go to heaven forever. And we think that it's a long way away, and nobody's died around me. My family members ain't passed away. No friends, no community members have passed away in my area for a year, 2 years, 3 years. Reality of it is that every single day 200,000 people or more die. That's like the population of, let's say, twice the population of Oldham, you could say, every single day. But that's like one person without iman dying every single second. Now we've been sat here for 10 minutes. That's probably 600 people that have died without iman. They're never going to get out of hell. They're going to be stuck forever. They're going to remain there. And the worst thing is that even when the last Muslim, even when the person who's got the smallest iman, he comes out of hell and he's the last person to enter heaven, majority, 99% are still going to be left in there. It'll probably be 1% that come out. And then the worst thing is that a seal will be placed over hell at that point, and it'll be welded shut, and they're going to remain there forever. So again, that's probably 200,000 are in this situation just today. And there's a hadith as well to this meaning. Sometimes we think that we think that we're wise as people, that we're shrewd, but reality is that there's our own thinking of what wisdom is. Now, if I ask someone, they'll probably think wisdom is being clever, maybe studying hard to become a doctor, or maybe doing well in business is wisdom, or looking after your health is probably wisdom. But hadith mentions that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned this hadith of Ibn Umar radiyallahu anhu, that those who remember death often and are best prepared for it with good deeds, those are the wisest. And we think that we think we're wise by defrauding people and chasing women or the opposite sex. That's not it. But the reality is, this hadith is the reality of it. And that reality is that the only one who's wise is the one who prepares for death before it comes to him. Now, the main point is how to prepare. So it's important that a person pays attention at this point, is how to prepare for that day and how to prepare for death. One is preparing how you think you should prepare and what you think you should do. But there's one thing, is preparing how Allah wants you to prepare and what Allah wants you to do to prepare. As Sayyidina Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu narrates in a hadith that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned that first there was nothing. One time Allah created with His power and wisdom and knowledge. I'm just doing commentary. That there was nothing, and then Allah created with His power and wisdom and knowledge, and He said be, He said kun, and the heavens were created. Such a vast creation. And then by His power and wisdom, He mentioned to Jibreel, go and have a look at my new creation. And He said, go and look at the pleasures of paradise. And he went and looked and was impressed, even though he was an angel. You see, angels, they don't have the same needs and desires that man does. They don't need the opposite sex, they don't need food, they don't need water, they don't need all our desires that we need. So for him to be impressed as an angel, imagine how impressed we would be. And he doesn't have any desires that are in Jannah, in heaven. But he came back and mentioned to Allah, I have seen what you have said. And Allah asked him, what do you think? He said, there's no one who has heard of this Jannah and he will not enter it. Such is the beauty of it, that whoever hears it and hears how pleasurable life is, they'd work hard for it. And then he came back and mentioned to Allah, I have seen what you said, and Allah asked him, what do you think? He said, no one who has heard of this Jannah and he will not enter it. Then Allah said, go and look again. And he went the second time, and the Jannah, the heaven was surrounded by struggles and hardship. For example, a person struggles and hardship. For example, some of the examples are that person, he has to sacrifice his sleep to pray Fajr. For example, going out in the cold rain to the masjid. Or a person, he has to sacrifice his desire to look at the opposite sex, especially when it's attractive. Because if it's attractive to you, for example, a nice car or a nice house, it naturally a person wants to look. So as to stop yourself, that is again a hardship. So Allah has mentioned that it is these people who will enter Jannah, the ones who stay steadfast, and the ones who who go through the struggle and the hardship, through the jungle of hardship around it. And what is the jungle of hardship? The jungle of hardship is using the organs in the correct way. So let's say, for example, if someone wants to swear at you, the natural thing is to hit him, but to take your time, to be patient at that point, that's hardship. Or for example, if you're not earning as much, then naturally the easiest way is to earn haram, but to still have sabr, that is hardship. So in the same way, the hardship surrounds Jannah, because without hardship you can't enter it. Now, when Hazrat Jibreel saw this, he said, Allah, my Lord, I don't think anybody will enter Jannah now. So this is after seeing the hardship. Then Allah mentioned in the Quran that whoever fears to stand before his Lord and stops his unlawful desires and lusts, then paradise will be his abode. So everyone has that one desire. That's the hardest to break. Everyone has that one desire. Some people it's drugs. They can stop everything. They'll stop absolutely everything, but they just can't stop drugs. It's difficult for them. Or for some people, it's the opposite sex. For them, they can stop everything. For them, they might not even go near drugs their whole life. It won't even entertain them. But for the opposite sex, they can't stay away. Some people, it's backbiting. They can't stop backbiting people, but they can stop everything else. For others, it might be gambling. They just can't stop it. But they'll never ever have the desire for drugs or for backbiting or anything. But for gambling, they just can't stop it. In the same way that this thing that you can't stop is the actual test that Allah's put you in. And this is His test of loyalty towards you. And that's what this dunya is. It's just one big test of loyalty. Are you loyal or are you not loyal? Are you a believer or are you a hypocrite? What is a believer? A believer is somebody who's loyal to Allah. A hypocrite is someone who's disloyal. In the same way, Allah is saying here that the person who stops his unlawful desires, his station is Jannah. So this is itself saying that how do you get to Jannah? How do you avoid all these situations? How do you prepare? Is to stop your unlawful desires. So that one thing, two thing, three things that you're struggling with, that are the hardest things in the world to break. Once you've broken them, that's when you'll be able to start preparing yourself. In the same way, but a person who says, I will do what I want, then his end is just destruction. There's nowhere else he can go. It's like, for example, with anything, it requires effort. If, for example, you see people driving a nice car outside, or you see people who are millionaires, It came with effort. You can't become a millionaire. You can't drive these things without effort. In the same way, you can't enter Jannat without effort. You have to have effort for you to enter heaven. Then Allah Azza mentioned Kun. He said be, and He created hell. And again Jibreel alayhi salam was told to go and see. When he saw the fire of hell, he got scared. And we're not just talking about any normal human here. We're talking about an angel, and not just any angel. We're talking about Hazrat Jibreel alayhi salam, a very powerful angel. And even he was scared when he saw it. He said, whoever hears of this place will never enter it. Whoever hears of it, he'll be so scared he will not come near it. But then Allah commanded him to go again, and then he saw all the different desires covering hell. So backbiting, women, drugs, fraud, arrogance, gambling, etc. Then Hazrat Jibreel came back and said, it will be very difficult that anyone will avoid hell due to the desires surrounding it. So now Hazrat Jibreel alayhi salam has come back and said, now it's going to be difficult for people to even avoid it. Is that difficult? Now you see, sins that we commit, reality of it is, from here you could see that the reality of it is that it's a cover. And it's a cover that's got Jahannam inside it. It's like, let's say for example, like it's mentioned that these sins and these desires were covering hell. In the same way they're still covering hell now. It doesn't mean that because they were covering hell at that one point that they've stopped covering hell now. They're still covering hell. Backbiting is still a cover. Behind it still hell. Women are still a cover, or the opposite sex, unlawful relationships with the opposite sex is still a cover for it. Drugs are still a cover. It's just you can't see it. But the only difference is you can't see it, but as soon as death comes, then everything will open up. There's no test now. Then you'll be able to see everything. And you'll see everything in front of you. You'll see all these sins that were covering hell, they've gone now, they've moved, and you'll be in front of it. You'll see everything. So in the same way, a person who's striving to please Allah, who's going against his unlawful desires, he will reach Jannah. But at the same time, a person who's fulfilling his unlawful desires, who's not bothered, who's living this, going through life with this attitude that it's okay, I'll just deal with it tomorrow, or I'm young, I've still got 50 years left. For him, he's going to have a rude awakening. So we're going closer and closer. The only difference is that you can't see it. In the same way, so Shaitan has fooled us in such a way that Allah has given us the best way in Islam. And it's not just the best way, it's the easiest way. Everything, absolutely everything is lawful except a few things, a handful of things. And that's only unlawful to protect you. Otherwise that would be lawful for you as well. But there's harm in there. So Allah wants you to stay away from that. Sayyidina Abdul Qadir Jalani also, who for 40 years, the Mashayikh mentioned that he prayed Isha and Fajr with the same wudu. But he said in his book, for other people for the normal public, he said that you should rest for 8 hours because they want ease for people. See, everything in Islam is supposed to be easy. But what happens is, instead of sleeping 8 hours, we're sinning. Even though we've been told that it's easy, you should rest. And if we're not sinning, we're wasting time. So a person who wants to live a balanced life, he has to follow the Sunnah. There's no other way. Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And what will happen is, if a person doesn't, he will continue to waste time, and then eventually his time will run out. And even if then, at that point, even if he's given good advice, he won't be able to act upon it. because he will see the angel of death has already come. So if a person is a good Muslim, then Allah commands the angel Israel to go and take the spirit of my servant. The blessings that I have given him in this life, he has used them to please me. I have given him ears, hands, feet, wealth, intellect, food, and all these blessings he has used in my obedience. And now he has passed his test. Now I want to reward him. And this dunya is just a test, is just to test you for a short while. In the same way, Allah wants to give you more and more. He's only sent you to this dunya for a short period of time to test you. And as soon as the test is over, especially if you've been good and you've been acting in accordance with Allah's commands, then Allah wants to give you more and more and more. He doesn't want you to stay in the test forever. He wants to bless you with more and more. So the angel Israel takes him towards paradise. And he doesn't just come on his own at this stage at the time of death. He comes with 500 other angels. And each angel has a separate gift of paradise that the angel before him has not mentioned. And then this is for the nafs that Allah is satisfied with. And that the nafs that is satisfied with the obedience of Allah is told, O satisfied soul, return to your Lord happy, and He is well pleased with you. So what happens? The spirit becomes happy, and the angels say, come out to Allah's pleasure. So the first angel may come and say, O person, come out to Allah's pleasure. Then he will sit down. Then another one will come. The second one will come and say, O person, you safeguarded your eyesight. So now Allah will show you Himself. Then He will sit down. Then a third one will come and says, O person, come, your house has been prepared for you in Jannah. And then he sits down. This happens with 500 times, and each angel says something different. And because of this, the spirit then he becomes happy, and it wants to come out like a bird who's stuck in a cage. It wants to come out of that cage, so he becomes happy and he yearns to come out. And then they bring him beautiful clothes with perfume from Jannah on him and put it on this spirit, this pure person. And this is why the Mashaykh have mentioned to do your tazkiyah, to purify yourself. And that in the spiritual world there's such perfume for the person that's purified, that coming out of his spirit, that even the angels have never smelt anything like this before. And all the heavens, just imagine from your spirit, the whole heavens are filled with your perfume coming from your spirit. This ain't perfume that's been put on you, this is perfume actually coming from you. And then there's 70,000 angels that are then waiting for you to come to welcome you. And then they take the spirit to the first day of heaven. Then they mention the angel Ridwan, who's in charge of the manager of heaven. He says, who have you bought? They mention we have bought such a person. And then he gives them permission to enter. Then a person who has spent his life in disobedience, and after his lowly worldly pleasures and his carnal desires, he's after women, he's after drugs, he's after alcohol, he's after wealth, he's made the purpose of his life these things. Then Allah, with His majestic voice in an angry tone, says to him, to such a person, to the extent that even the angels become fearful. They say, O Israel, I have given such a person blessings, and he has used my blessings in my disobedience. Just imagine, Allah says this in such a voice that the angels who are coming to take your soul, they're scared. So imagine what's going to happen to that person. So for him, it's mentioned then that for him prophets have come, awliya have been sent. He said to them, I know how to live my life. Now his time is expired, and there's a very severe punishment waiting for him. And this is evident. So just to imagine this, you have to look at the story of Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam, when Sayyidina Israel alayhi salam came to him and said, and Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam said, show me the form in which you come when you come to take the soul of an evil person or a disbeliever. And they said that Hazrat Israel alayhi salam is talking to Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam, and he mentioned that you won't be able to bear that. And we're talking about a very strong prophet here, and he's saying you won't be able to bear that. And he said, no, show me. Then what happened? Hazrat Israel alayhi salam mentioned to him, close your eyes. Then he closed his eyes, then he switched his form to what he comes in the form of to the form of an evildoer. And at that point, Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam opened his eyes and he saw him and he fainted. It's mentioned, the Mashayikh mentioned that he fainted for such a while that even once alarm became, because such was the fear. And we're talking about a prophet here. Now just imagine this same angel who has come to Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam, who showed him that. Then Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam mentioned that if there's no other punishment apart from seeing you, that's enough. Such is the form that he comes in. And then it's mentioned, like we mentioned early on, that this person who goes through this, that even when Allah mentions in the angry tone, O Israel, I have given such a person blessings and he used my blessings in my disobedience, this angel that Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam fainted because of, he gets scared. So just imagine how angry Allah is with this person. So then Hazrat Israel alayhi salam, he takes the person towards hell, where they meet Malik, the angel in charge of hell, and 500 angels also come, and each, just like in the initial, just like with the good person, 500 angels of Jannah came, and each one was telling him the benefit, the things that are waiting for him, and each one was a different blessing. For this person, the 500 angels who are punishment of hell welcome him to hell, and they say for each different angel out of the 500, and different punishment is waiting for him. And then Israel says to the evil soul, come out to the punishment of hell. Then each of the angels of hell come and give him the bad news that you have used your eyesight, your ears in the wrong way. This is your punishment now for that. You've used your ears in the wrong way. This is your punishment for that. And just how initially when the spirit comes out, the good spirit comes out, the believing spirit comes out, and his perfumes, the smell coming from his spirit, it covers the whole heavens. The evil spirit, when it comes out, the smell coming from it is such wretched that it covers it, and there's no smell that's more disgusting than what's coming from it. And there's no worse smell, and the angels welcome him to the punishment of hell. And just imagine how it was mentioned that, just imagine that's just the punishments of hell. It's mentioned that in the punishments of the grave, that one person, he'll be getting azab in the grave, and this angel will be hitting him with a hammer, and that hammer is so strong that if it hit a mountain, it turns to dust. And when it hits this person, there's everything in the east of this dunya, everything in the west hears it. The only thing that doesn't hear it is man and jinn, and the reason for that is they're still in the testing ground. And we're talking, that is just in the barzakh, in the grave. We're not even talking about what's waiting in hell for this individual. So in the same way, as Sunday has passed, like yesterday has passed, and it's a dream, and you can probably recall 50% of it, 60% of it. Last Sunday, not yesterday, last Sunday, 7-8 days ago, you might only be able to recall 5% of it, if that. So just as this Sunday has passed, your whole life is going to pass like this. And one day you're going to wake up and you're going to think, where has it gone? But it's important that before that happens, and before the angels come, and before death comes, that you take yourself to account. And the prophets and the messengers, alayhi salam, they were serious people. They didn't come here to waste their time. They came here as a mercy to people, because they knew what kind of punishments that they're going to face on the Day of Judgment, and then in the hell and in the grave world. and after death. They even said that if people punish us, look at Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what they went through in Taif when they were stoned. That is nothing compared to how they felt then. Is nothing compared to how they feel for us if this punishment happens. So we will go through this, but if these people fail, then there's no coming back. So this is a very serious matter, and Allah has mentioned that, "O my servant," in Ismail, "O my servant, prepare yourself for the questions after death, and the questions on the day of judgment, and all shall be answered for the one who follows the way of Sunnah and Tariqah. For then there's nothing difficult in this. Everything's been laid out of how they can avoid this. So there's only one key to Jannah, and that is Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and to merge your life with their blessed life. And then all the questions will automatically be answered correctly, and Allah will help you Himself in these situations. So the purpose isn't here for me to give a speech or for you to come to a zikr. The reality of it is, the purpose you're here in this masjid and the purpose you're here on the dunya is to prepare yourself for your death and what's coming. And not only that, to help others, your family, prepare them, prepare other people as much as possible. And here, if you'd like to see someone after, we offer a way in which a person, day by day, he goes closer to Allah and His Messenger, and day by day he comes away from these acts and these evil deeds that he's drowning in. And if you want to speak to someone, you can come to myself after and I will give you so. So we all listen to speeches all our life, but we need to start to put that change into effect. And if we're not going to change, then the only person that we're kidding ourselves is ourselves, unless we put that change and we put that effort in and we take action. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So as what was mentioned in the bayan by Ustad Shaban, that this dunya is nothing but a big deception. It is so much of a deception that what happens sometimes, we do not even know that we are in this. But now the question arises, how do we get out of this? How do we get out of the lies and the cheatings of this world? The way to overcome the deception is by simply following what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has ordained us to do, and by refraining from what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has refrained for us. But how do we achieve this now? Maybe a person is saying to themselves that I do not have the knowledge, I don't have the time, I don't have money to give to pay for courses. Alhamdulillah, everything that is taught does not require time, it does not require any money. All it requires is someone to be sincere and wanting to change themselves. So if a person wants to know more about this way of which they can detach themselves from the dunya, then please come and approach myself after the zikr majlis. But maybe we have started this course, maybe we have started and we were flying high, but what happens after a couple of months, we might have lost motivation and now we have fallen. What is the action for us now? Is the action for us to stay seated? Is the action for us to halt? Or is the action for us to seek help? So again, if you want any advice, then alhamdulillah, we have people here who can give you that advice, tailored advice, personal one-to-one guidance on how we can change ourselves for the better and better. So again, please come and approach myself if you want to learn about this course, or if you are stuck and you want to find a way out. The teacher of Tariqah Muhammadiyya, Sheikh Ahmed Dabbagh, is currently in Pakistan and delivering a nationwide dawah tour in key areas from governmental to scholarly conferences and for retreats for the wider public. So if you have family in Pakistan and you want them to benefit from the teachings of the Prophet ﷺ through the pious and righteous people, then please keep yourselves posted on the Sheikh Ahmed Dabbagh Facebook page. Also, please, firstly, read the post to get the reminder and the knowledge for yourselves, then put it into practice and then share with others. So again, if you have family in Pakistan and you want them to benefit, then please let them know of all the key programs that are going on there. Also, a caravan of dawah will be traveling to the West Indies, and inshallah they'll be holding a couple of spiritual retreats. So again, please keep yourself posted on the Sheikh Ahmed Dabagh Facebook page for more information on this. Also, a blessed trip to Umrah will be taking place at the beginning of April. If you want more information on ticket prices, on dates, then please approach Brother Farouk or Brother Waqas. If you do not know them, then please approach myself. I will give you the contact details. So now inshallah we will have the zikr majlis. So if everyone can stand up and let some blood flow through to the legs. And also please can everyone come forward as well. So stand up and come forward and fill in any gaps that are there. Yeah. So everyone, please can everyone take a couple of steps forward. So the people at the back, please can you come forward. Brother Wahid, can you come forward as well also? Come forward and fill in the gaps. And now inshallah you can be seated. So now inshallah we will have the zikr majlis. So firstly I will request everyone to rectify the intentions of why they are here. They should be here to seek the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by doing his remembrance. And also please can everyone refresh the three keys that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is with me, watching me and hearing me. This is a loud zikr, so please raise your voices and please try not to go ahead of the ustad who will be leading. Jazakallah khair.
Sayyidina Abu Sa'id Khudri radiallahu ta'ala anhu narrates, the Messenger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to the nearest effect, do the zikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So much so, people call you insane and people think you are insane. So lose yourself in the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Put your difficulties, your problems in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Beseech Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and ask Him for guidance. Imagine the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala above this building, white, bright and light, and the noor and the light come into every single person, eradicating the darkness, your whole body illuminating with the noor and the peace and sakina. And Allah is watching you, hearing you, with you. Lose yourself in the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد صدق الله العظيم. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم. مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم. هو الحبيب الذي ترجى شفاعته لكل حول من الأهوال مقتحم. محمد سيد الكونين والثقلين والفريقين من عرب ومن عجم. مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم. فاعلم أنه لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله محمد رسول الله. لا إله إلا الله 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 لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله لا إله لا لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله 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 لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله لا لا الہ الا اللہ 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 حسبی ربی جل اللہ ما فی قلبی غیر اللہ نور محمد صلی اللہ لا الہ الا اللہ لا لا الہ الا اللہ لا الہ الا اللہ لا الہ الا اللہ الا اللہ الا اللہ الا اللہ الا اللہ اول و آخر ہے اللہ ظاہر و باطن ہے اللہ حافظ و ناصر ہے اللہ لا الہ الا اللہ الا اللہ الا اللہ الا اللہ الا اللہ الا اللہ لا الا اللہ 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 لبیک اللہم لبیک لبیک لا شریک لک لبیک ان الحمد والنعمت لک والملک لا شریک لک لبیک اللہم لبیک لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك والملك لا شريك لك لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك والملك لا شريك لك. أستغفر الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم يا حي يا قيوم لا إله إلا أنت يا حي يا قيوم لا إله إلا أنت أستغفر الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم وأتوب إليه. أستغفر الله الذي لا إله إلا هو لا إله إلا هو لا إله إلا هو. أستغفر الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم وأتوب إليه. اللهم صل على سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وسلم. اللهم صل على سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وصحابه وسلم. اللهم صل على سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وصحابه وسلم. اللهم صل على سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وصحابه وسلم. اللهم صلی علی سیدنا و مولانا محمد وعلى آلہ وصحبہ وسلم. الحمد للہ رب العالمین والصلاة والسلام على اشرف الانبیاء والمرسلین یا اول الاولین یا آخر الاخرین یا راحم المساکین یا ذا القوة المتین یا ذا الجلال والاکرام یا ربی یا رحمان یا اللہ یا اکرم الاکرمین یا راحم المساکین یا ذا القوة المتین ارحمنا 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 رب ارحمهما كما ربياني صغيرا رب ارحمهما كما ربياني صغيرا رب ارحمهما كما ربياني صغيرا. اللهم اغفر للمؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات الأحياء منهم والأموات. یا اللہ تیرا فضل، تیرا کرم، تیرا احسان، تیری دی ہوئی توفیق سے تیرا ذکر کیا، تیرا شکر کیا، تیری عبادت، تیری تعریف، تیری توصیف، تیری حمد و ثنا. مولا کریم اس طرح نہ کر سکے جس طرح کرنے کا حق تھا. مولا کریم تیری عبادت، تیری بندگی، تیری پہچان، تیری معرفت، تیری محبت اس طرح نہ کی جس طرح کرنے کا حق تھا. مولا کریم اپنے فضل اور کرم سے ہماری کمزوری کو معاف فرما اور ہمارے تھوڑے کو قبول و منظور فرما. یا الہ العالمین اس مجلس کا ثواب ذکر کا، نعت کا، حمد کا، شکر کا، قرآن کا، نماز کا، بیان کا تیرے حبیب، تیرے کریم، تیرے سونے محبوب سیدنا محمد رسول اللہ صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم کی بارگاہ میں ہدیۃً تحفۃً نذرانۃً عقیدۃً پیش کرتے ہیں. یا الہ العالمین آپ صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم کے طفیل سیدنا آدم علیہ السلام سے لے کے آج کے دن تک جتنے مرد، عورتیں، بچیاں، بچے، جنوں، انسان ایمان کی حالت میں اس دنیا سے پردہ کر گئے ہیں، تیرے پاس پہنچ گئے. مولا کریم ان سب کی ارواح کو اصال ثواب کرتے ہیں، قبول و منظور فرما. ہمارا سلام، ہمارا پیغام، ہمارا کلام، ہماری نیک، ہمارے اس کا ثواب تمام انبیاء، تمام فرشتوں، تمام صدیقین، شہداء، اہل البیت اطہار، صحابہ کرام اور خصوصاً بالخصوص سیدنا صدیق اکبر رضی اللہ تعالیٰ عنہ یار غار کی بارگاہ میں پیش کرتے ہیں، قبول و منظور فرما. یا الہ العالمین ان کے درجات کو بلند فرما. یا الہ العالمین ہمارا سلام ان تک پہنچا. مولا کریم ان کی شفاعت کا حقدار بنا. مولا کریم ان کا فیض عطا فرما. یا الہ العالمین خصوصاً طریقہ شاذلیہ، قادریہ، رفاعیہ، محمدیہ کے بزرگان دین کی ارواح کو پیش کرتے ہیں، قبول و منظور فرما. ہمارے شیخ، ہمارے غوث سیدنا عبدالعزیز الدباغ رحمہ اللہ کی بارگاہ میں پیش کرتے ہیں، قبول و منظور فرما. یا الہ العالمین ان کا فیض اور ان کے نقش قدم پر چلنے والا بنا. یا الہ العالمین جن کی وجہ سے ہم تک یہ راستہ پہنچا، ہم غفلت میں تھے، تجھے نہ جانتے تھے. مولا کریم تیری معرفت سے لاآشنا تھے، تیری محبت سے انکاری تھے، تیرے حکم سے انکاری تھے. مولا کریم تیرا راستہ ہمیں دکھایا، تیرا پیغام ہمیں سنایا، تیری بارگاہ تک ہمیں پہنچایا. سیدنا غوث احمد دباغ زیدہ مجدہ کی بارگاہ میں پیش کرتے ہیں، مولا کریم قبول و منظور فرما. آپ کے جملہ احباب کی بارگاہ میں پیش کرتے ہیں، قبول و منظور فرما. یا الہ العالمین آپ کی تنگ دستیوں کو دور فرما، روحانی معاملات کو اپنی بارگاہ میں اور اونچا فرما. آپ کو اپنا خاص مشاہدہ نصیب فرما. آپ کی بیماریوں کو دور فرما، صحت اور تندرستی والی زندگی عطا فرما، شفا عطا فرما. آپ کی آل و اولاد کے اوپر کرم فرما. یا الہ العالمین آپ کے رفقاء، آپ کے متعلقین، متعبئین جو یہاں پہ موجود ہیں ان کی بارگاہوں میں پیش کرتے ہیں، قبول و منظور فرما. یہاں پہ جو دوست، احباب، بہن بھائی، پردے میں رہ کے سننے والی بہنیں، مائیں جو آئی ہیں، حاضر ہوئے ہیں، مولا کریم جو قیامت کے دن تک یہ ذکر سنیں گے، مولا کریم اپنے فضل اور کرم سے ان کی جسمانی روحانی بیماریوں کو، پریشانیوں کو دور فرما، ان کی تنگ دستیوں کو دور فرما، ان کے رزق، جان، مال، اولاد میں برکتیں عطا فرما. یا الہ العالمین ان کے گناہوں کو معاف فرما. یا اللہ اپنے فضل اور کرم والا معاملہ فرما، ایمان کے ساتھ رکھ، ایمان کی سلامتی کے ساتھ رکھ. یا اللہ ایمان اور اپنا خاص مشاہدہ عطا فرما. یا الہ العالمین مرتے وقت ہم تیری یاد میں ہوں، تیرے حبیب علیہ السلام کی ذات کے اوپر درود پڑھ رہے ہوں، سجدے میں ہوں، نعت پڑھ رہے ہوں، نیکی کی حالت میں ہوں. مولا کریم اپنے فضل اور کرم سے ہم سب کو اپنا فضل اور کرم اس طرح پہنچا جس طرح کے پہنچانے کا حق ہے. اللہم صلی علی سیدنا مولانا محمد النبی الامی وعلی آلہ واصحابہ واولادہ وبارک وسلم.